You've seen it 100 times. It's 3 a.m. The house goes quiet. And 4 small paws are walking across your body like you're a path they've memorized. Most people call it random. Most people are wrong. When your cat walks on you at night, they're running a layered program. Biology stacked on biology, then something stranger on top of that. Researchers from Hefner's Hearing Lab to Sussex University have spent 40 years mapping pieces of it. There are 5 layers under that little 3 a.m. walk. By layer 5, you'll realize one of those layers your cat learned from you, not from instinct. Stay until the end. I'll show you the 2-second response that resets the whole loop. Layer 1, the vital sign sweep. This isn't poetry. This is biology you can't dispute. When your cat walks on you at night, the first thing they're doing is the oldest thing any species does in a shared den. They're checking you're still alive. Your breathing is slowed. Your body temperature has dropped half a degree. Your heart rate sits around 55 instead of 75. To a small mammal sleeping in your weather, every one of those is a signal worth reading. So they walk the length of you paw by paw, the way a doctor walks a hallway during night rounds. Honest science here, specific cat HRV sync trials remain limited. No landmark study has strapped sensors on a cat to prove they read your heart rate variability. What we have is parallel literature plus clinical observation. Hefner and Hefner's classic 1985 paper in Hearing Research mapped the cat's audible range up to roughly 64 kilohertz, 3 times the human ceiling. Add decades of clinical reports of cats waking the exact moment an owner's breathing changes, and the picture is clear even without one perfect study. So when she steps on your chest in the middle of the night, that's not affection. That's a small, furry doctor doing a wellness check on the human she has chosen to live with. Layer 1 is biology you can't dispute. Layer 2 is biology you can't even hear. Layer 2, the 64,000 hertz world. Hefner and Hefner, 1985, Hearing Research, the audible range of the domestic cat. Reaches up to about 64 kilohertz. Humans top out near 20,000. Your cat hears 3 octaves above the world you live in. So when the house goes quiet to you, it doesn't go quiet to her. There's a parallel city above your hearing pipes, ticking mice in the wall. The ultrasonic whine of a phone charger neighbors moving 2 apartments away. A study in animal cognition adds the second piece. Cats, even in a resting state, distinguish familiar sounds from unfamiliar ones. They're filtering not just hearing. They don't startle at every creak. They react when something doesn't fit the map of your apartment. So when your cat leaves your chest at 3 a.m. and stares hard at the corner, you assume she's seeing a ghost. She isn't. She's hearing something specific. Combine that with UV vision. Douglas and Jeffrey Royal Society B found cats let around 59% of ultraviolet light through to the retina. While we let in almost none, a wall isn't a wall to her. It's a textured map. So why does your cat bolt from the blanket and lock onto something invisible? Not because she's broken, because her senses open channels yours can't. Stay until the end. I'll show you the 2-second response that resets this loop. What's your cat's name and what's the strangest sound they've ever reacted to? When nothing was happening, drop it in the comments. Layer 2 explains the sudden alarms. Layer 3 is when biology meets the clock. Layer 3, the Crepuscular Wake-Up. Your cat is not nocturnal. That's the first myth to clear. The biology word is crepuscular. Peak activity at dawn and dusk. The 2 windows when light is dim enough to hide them, but bright enough to hunt. Sleep researchers describe their pattern as polyphasic. Many short sleep bouts spread through 24 hours with 2 predictable spikes when the sky turns. So 3 a.m. isn't a bug. It's the warm-up lap before the dawn shift. A study from the University of Zurich tracked anticipatory feeding in cats and found a remarkably tight window roughly 15 minutes before the expected meal. The cat starts orienting, vocalizing, moving toward the food location. Not by smell, by internal clock. John Bradshaw in Cat Sense calls this anticipatory conditioning. Hardwired into a learning system cats run without training. So why does your cat walk on you at night every night at almost the same hour? Because 2 clocks are syncing. Her ancestral dawn clock is firing. And her learn from you clock, the one that knows your alarm goes off at 6. That food appears at 6:30 is firing too. 3 a.m. is where those two clocks first overlap. She's not breaking your sleep. She's running her schedule, and yours is glued onto hers. That isn't disrespect. That's a small animal who has built her day around the rhythm of a human she trusts. And here's where Layer 3 stops being purely biology and starts being something else. Layer 4, the ritual you built. This is the layer most cat content misses, and it's the most important one. Layers 1 through 3 are pure biology. Every cat does them, even feral ones. Layer 4 is something only your cat does, and it exists because of you. John Bradshaw's 2013 Cat Sense lays it out. Cats are master operant conditioners. Operant conditioning is the dry name for a simple loop. A behavior produces a result, and if the result is rewarding, the behavior repeats and sharpens. Your cat walks on your chest. You stir. You whisper, you stroke her. Maybe you get up and feed her early one Saturday because you can't sleep anyway. That Saturday morning was the most important training session of your life. And you didn't know you were the student. A viewer recently put it this way: "He absolutely learned that and taught me what to do." Another wrote that her cat had to step on her first, almost like a ritual before settling. A third described a tiny 2-second reassurance trick that calms the cat instantly. 3 different households, 3 different cats. Same architecture, a learned dance between 2 species polished by months of accidental rewards. That's not random pacing. That's a contract. Behaviorists call the way it locks in intermittent reinforcement the strongest learning pattern there is. The unpredictability of your response is exactly what carves the ritual into stone. So why does your cat walk on you at night in that very specific pattern? Chest, then shoulder, then face. Because you taught her. Quietly, over months, without a single deliberate lesson. What's your cat's name, and what's the ritual you've trained without knowing? Tell me below. Which means the deepest layer isn't in your cat's biology at all. It's in yours. Layer 5, the frequency they're reading. Karen McComb, University of Sussex, 2009, Current Biology. This is the study that quietly broke the internet for cat researchers and never reached most owners. McComb's team analyzed the purrs of domestic cats and discovered something stunning. When cats want something from a human, they embed a high-frequency cry inside the low rumble of the purr. The cry sits at roughly 380 Hz, almost identical to a human infant's distress cry. We are evolutionarily wired to react to that frequency. Cats found it, and they use it surgically. Now layer that onto what your cat is doing in the middle of the night. She's not just walking, she's reading you. Slowed breathing, long exhales. A weight distribution that says deep sleep. Specific cat HRV sync trials remain limited. I won't pretend they exist when they don't. But parallel literature on animal-human attunement points the same direction. Your cat knows the moment your exhale shortens. If she has reached layer 5 with you, she times her walk to the seam. Between deep sleep and shallow sleep, where she gets the gentlest reaction. That's not a pet bothering an owner. That's a small, intelligent animal reading the frequency of a body she has memorized. There's a word for what it cost her to learn this. It's called attention, years of it. 5 layers, 1 outcome, 1 thing you'll never look at the same way again. Now the small thing I promised, the 2-second reassurance hum. Tonight, when your cat wakes you and steps on your chest, don't open your eyes. Don't move. Just give a soft 2-second hum, back a quiet through a closed mouth. You're answering her survival check in her own grammar, a closed-mouth murmur the same shape as her trill. Bradshaw's anticipatory conditioning literature predicts what most owners report. The cat softens within 30 seconds, curls down beside you, and the loop completes. The walk has done its job, the night can return. She's been telling you all along, you just didn't have the translation. Layer 1 was the body she could feel under her paws. Layer 2 was the world she could hear above your hearing. Layer 3 was the clock she shares with the dawn. Layer 4 was the ritual you built together, one accidental morning at a time. Layer 5 was the frequency she learned only because she was paying attention to you. That isn't a pet walking on a person. That's a small animal who has folded her biology around your sleep. Before you go, leave your cat's name in the comments. Just the name. Let me see how many of us are out there. If this is the kind of video you've been looking for, subscribe. I have more to share with you. Watch next what cats are hearing while you sleep. It might change how you see her forever. Because when your cat walks on you at night, she isn't waking you. She's checking you're still here.